Welcome to my new series called Croissant Layers, where we peel back the layers behind this croissant and I tell you everything there is to know about the Haitian croissant and my new book, I Can Cook. So, how did I start the Haitian croissant? Okay, I've never really told you guys the full story as to how I got into starting the Haitian croissant, but it started out of pain, honestly. So you guys know I lived in Paris for 5 years. I moved there for school, for fashion school during my last year at Parsons, Paris. And to be honest, that first year was absolute bliss in Paris. First 2 years were absolute bliss. So imagine I graduated college and I was top of my class. I had 5 interviews coming out of college, which was honestly a big deal. And with some of the top houses, I had an interview at Hermes, I had an interview at Balmain, I had an interview at Louis Vuitton, while Virgil was still there, okay? And you know, for one reason or another, I didn't get all of the internships that I applied for, besides the Balmain internship. And you know, being somebody who has been super into excelling and, you know, really putting on for my mom, my family, and putting on for myself, it was a huge blow to my confidence. Imagine that in high school I was class president, in college I was class speaker, and for the first time I was being rejected, and it really took a blow to my confidence. And right after that, I remember reaching out to a lot of stylists because I was like, I need to get this collection out. So this collection was in Vogue Italia, it was in L'Officiel, I was featured in ODDA. Hello, so I am Aida Soleil. This is my collection, Black Body. Pretty much I was inspired by my experience by moving to Paris and being a Black woman within the high fashion industry, and I wanted to, you know, portray the beauty of the Black body, but also in physics there's a term called Black body as well, and it's pretty much when all the colors come together before they reach black, and that's why my collection is mostly dark, rich colors. I interviewed lots of women, my peers, to see what were the most central parts of the female body, and that's why we have so many different cuts here, we cut here, if you want to turn around, the back, and these are all the parts of the body that people told me that they enjoy to highlight and expose. So my collection shows parts that you can conceal and expose, and it's the perfect closet for all women. All these huge publications in Europe, and I just couldn't imagine that I wasn't getting an internship. I wasn't being accepted in the French system. So this is 2019, and your favorite artist, I don't want to say her name because I don't want the hive to come for me, but I reached out to your favorite artist, stylist, and I said, hey, like, this is my collection, I'd love to share it. And at the time, she was filming for Lion King, and I sent over my whole collection, and they loved it, but unfortunately, at the time, it didn't fit her. So a few months later, I reached out to, again, by her stylist to make a custom dress. You guys, this dress has been hanging over me for years, and I've finally gotten over it this year. And believe it or not, like, a lot of people might see this like, girl, why did you get so sad? But imagine, you know who was about to wear my stuff. And I was reached out to on a Monday. She said she needed the dress by Friday, and this is August in Paris. So for those of you who aren't aware, August in Paris is the craziest time because nothing is open. Let me set the scene for you. Paris in August, there are basically no citizens there. Honestly, half of Paris travels, they leave the city, and rightfully so. But it was my first August in Paris, and I realized that I had to make do with very few resources and not the amount of resources that I was used to creating, because it really takes a village to make quality clothing. So I have a seamstress, I have my school that allowed me to use the mannequins and the tables to pattern out the patterns so that I could make the shapes to send over to my seamstress, and my favorite fabric stores. Majority of my favorite fabric stores were closed. So all the odds were against me, and I had to make the biggest dress of my life, honestly. And I'm sure that the pressure got to me a bit, but in the end I prevailed. I found an amazing seamstress named Irina. She sewed the dress for me in 24 hours, and if you know anything about garment construction, that is very fast. So we sent over the dress, and I also sent over the custom body framers. It's a type of jewelry that I made for my collection. I'll definitely show you guys some of my collection. And I sent one over for the queen. So the dress gets FedExed over. We also contemplated me flying back to New York just for a day to send her the dress. And her assistant ended up sending the FedEx box, and we shipped it that way. You guys, she gets the dress and completely ghosts me. I get ghosted for months. I reach out, I'm like, hey, like, was the dress not good enough? Was the dress, you know, not what you wanted? Did it not fit? Like, please give me some type of feedback. I hear crickets, to the point where it wasn't until the year later that I had to wait and see all the production that happened to see if she even wore the dress. And in the end, she didn't. But in my mind, imagine I'm like, yo, my career's about to take off, people are gonna learn more about me, and we're gonna just kill it. But this happens, I just had silence. And as a first generation Haitian who has way too much shame, way too much pride, and just respect for others, I couldn't take to social media to blast this person. And that's just how a lot of young fashion designers have to get respect these days. And it's really sad that that is the course that people have to take. But at the moment, I just couldn't. Like, I just was honestly ashamed. And it really made me feel like, am I not a good designer? Like, has everything I learned and done been a lie at this point? And I couldn't believe that it was this one instance that made me question all my years of training and all these things. But it did. And, you know, just 2-3 short months after the pandemic hit and I decided to start grad school, and everybody was locked in the house. And my style of design is very couture, very high-end quality materials. I work with a lot of leather. I work with a lot of wool and things like that. And you know, during the pandemic, everybody was just wearing sweatpants. So I didn't feel a purpose at the time.